Mel? Just Mel?
Zakoul.
Oh, okay. Mel Zakoul. Right? Okay. I thought you were saying it's cool. Yeah, and I was like, no, he's saying Zakoul. Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. I'm your host, Colleen Witt, and today we have special guest, Mel Zakoul, host of Meet You Where You Are podcast and the owner of Attire Trendsetting Clothing.
Yes.
What do you have us eating today?
The brokest dish ever, because this is literally what I ate when I was in Africa, West Ghanaian dish. This is called Garri. Literally, it's like a grain of sand, and you will mix it with water.
With his dish too. I'm gonna bring a dish, so I'm gonna add some flavor. But today, What do you have us eating? What are your ingredients?
Yes. Okay. So this is probably gonna be the brokest dish ever on the show.
I don't know if it's the brokest. It's definitely the second brokest.
Really?
Yes.
I'm willing to bet that this is the brokest. You know why?
Why?
Because you don't even need a stove.
So I'm gonna be honest. We had two. I told myself looking at your dish that this was gonna be the second brokest.
Okay.
Because the other one was free. And it didn't require a stove.
Did it come with a lunch ticket? That's the only time I heard of free food.
So what's the name of your dish?
So this is called Garri.
Garri.
And that's the ingredients we're using, which is this. It's like, it looks like sand and it feels like sand.
Yeah.
But this is an African dish straight from Ghana, the motherland where my parents are from.
Okay.
Yeah, natives there. So when I was out there for a few years, real struggle. I'm talking about, you were lucky to have water to add to this. So you add water to make it a dinner.
We don't really, we have water in our cups.
We got water in our cups.
We're really going to be eating while broke
Yeah,
today.
we're about to really do this.
Okay.
And it was so bad that we didn't have utensils, so we got to eat this with our hands if we really going to get down. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do the real deal.
Okay, cool.
So what are the ingredients? You say Garri?
Garri, sugar, and milk. Canned milk.
Okay.
Because we didn't have refrigerated for real milk because we didn't have electricity.
Okay.
So canned milk was a thing back then.
Now, what are these two extra ingredients you have?
And this is dinner right here. So this is called Shito. It's the hottest thing, but the spiciest thing is what Ghanaians love. It's like a cheap way to spicing up your food, to season it up without actually using real season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it lasts forever. Like it could be in that can for 3 years.
Okay.
And then won't go back.
And
what? Sardines. Sardines is a poor man's food here. Out there is a rich man's food, believe it or not.
Oh,
yeah,
so like
we're lucky to have sardines.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this dish you had mentioned was like versatile. So you have, this is actually breakfast and it can be dinner.
Yeah. Well, this is more like a dessert with the sugar and the milk.
Okay.
But when we're broke, we're eating it for dessert, dinner, lunch, anything.
Okay.
And this is more like a luxury, like I said, because sardines are a luxury out there.
All right. So for all you guys listening out there, like, Garri definitely looks like sand.
And it feels like it.
And it comes in a sandwich bag, I'm guessing because it's imported.
Yeah.
And you can get this at African market. We literally Googled the African market and then we called it in. I'm really excited about experiencing this because I get to participate in making this dish. And today, I wanted to bring a dish out.
Okay.
So this is what I used to eat back in the day when my mom used to send me and my siblings down to the basement when we were acting up. It sounds really horrible, but hey, coming from my childhood, do a deep dive. But anyways, we used to eat Milo in our basement, and we used to eat it raw. So I'm going to challenge you to take a spoonful with me.
Okay,
and you were the first guest on the show where I actually, was like, oh, we going to do this.
Okay, let's do it.
So I'm excited. So let's go ahead and you teach me how to make this.
So first, we're going to get into the dinner part of it, since we have sardines.
Yeah,
so
and I'm starving.
Yeah, back in the day, Biggie said, I was so broke I used to have sardines for dinner. But I mean, you was lucky to have sardines for dinner if you was in Ghana. This is a luxury, literally. We're lucky to have sardines with our dish. Okay. So we're gonna add the Garri right here, right? You mind if I stand up?
No.
Okay, cool.
What do I do? What do you want me to do?
You could take a handful.
No spoons?
Nah, no spoons. We're gonna do it like how we did it back home.
Okay.
So you take a handful and just actually, you know what? No, put it in that, because we're gonna put it in the bowl. Yeah.
Okay, hands. By the way, we did wash our hands, so don't judge me.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Yeah, a little bit more.
A little bit more.
A little bit more, yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna be that person and just try it raw.
And then we're gonna add water. It tastes like sand, huh?
For all y'all listeners, definitely don't do it raw.
You definitely don't do it raw.
Nope. Okay.
And then you're gonna add a little bit of water, just a little bit of water to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you doing yours? Go on,
Yeah, I'm about to do mine too. Yeah.
Okay. Is that
Playing in the sand?
Was that a lot of water?
No, that's you could actually and just kind of mix it with your finger.
Oh.
Yeah. If you really don't want to, because
no.
We gonna if it's gonna be real.
Okay, let's do it real. Okay.
Yeah. So that you
how
got
much
just enough. You see?
It's like a.
It's starting to get thick, like sand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's supposed
It's like
to feel
something like a sculpt.
Yeah.
So for all y'all listeners, we are sculpting the Garri, essentially.
Yeah. Boom. We're gonna mix it up with our hands. I might add it a little bit too much until it gets like we want to make a sandcastle or something with it.
Okay.
It's supposed to feel like that.
For all y'all ladies, if you have nails on, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this with your hands.
Yeah, so it feels good, right?
It feels good though.
Cool.
It feels like, when you go to those really expensive stores and they have like that sand, that premium sand that you buy your kids to destroy your house with. That's what this feels like.
So normally out here we'll pour out the liquid in here. We're just gonna take a piece out. You can just take you don't have to use your hands for this. You can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sparing me.
I'm gonna spare you on this one. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna pull out the sardines.
Boom.
Boom. And I got look. I'm gonna be real too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. You can leave it right there on the side, or you can mix it. It's optional.
I'm not supposed to put it in there?
No, you can mix it up with the Garri, or you can eat it together. See, boom. Okay. This is a luxury. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good
and then for the final touch, this is what we got here called Shito. This is the spiciest, hottest dish, but people love it out there. So I don't know if you can handle spicy like that.
I can't really, but I'll try it.
Going for this one.
So I just use a little tiny drop because I don't have faith in myself.
Okay. Boom.
That's probably a lot.
Yeah, this is powerful.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Let
gonna
me see how much you put. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to get a little bit because this might have me in tears. But this is what they eat though. You can smell how hot it is. Yeah. Yeah, you can smell it. I might be over here crying in a minute.
Okay.
So we going.
So, which camera should I point this to? I just want you guys to see. This is the sardine with the red. What is this called?
It's called Shito.
Shito and sardines.
And Garri.
Yeah. And are we gonna mash it up together? Yeah.
So what you do is you just kind of mash it up a little bit like that, and you take a scoop with your hand, right? And you want to dip it. You can take a little bit of the sardine like this, okay, and then dip a little bit of the Shito on it to your liking, and then just boom, start eating.
No, it is a dish.
It is a dish,
not
right?
actually bad.
And this will cost you about 30 cents out there.
Honestly, I could totally eat this.
You can eat this, right?
What's crazy is that we didn't even need a stove.
Didn't need a stove.
So my rule of thumb on this show is the broker the dish, the better the story.
Yeah.
So where were you? What was going on when you were eating this dish?
I was a teenager when I got introduced to this dish, and 16 years old in West Africa in Ghana, where I was sent there. Yeah, normally we were sent here. Yeah. I was sent there.
So you were born in America, and then your mom was like, you know what? I'm sick of your teenage ways.
No, I wish it was that way. That way I would have never went. So they were slick. My mom and dad had split, and by then I hadn't seen my dad in about 5 years. He said, why don't you and your brother go visit your dad for a 2-week vacation? That ended up turning into a 3-year vacation.
Oh, that's messed
up.
they
got us like that.
You didn't see the 2-way ticket? You saw the 1-way ticket?
We didn't even look at the ticket.
Dang.
And we talk about, a rural area. They didn't even have water, no electricity. Coming from living in LA your whole life to a city, from a city to like a rural area that's basically like living in the jungle, didn't have pavement on the ground. It was rough.
And you were how old?
16. Left at 18.
Did they have cell phones at that time?
Nah, no internet, no cell.
So you wouldn't even text your friends like, yo, save me?
Nah, this is in the 90s. We didn't even have a regular phone.
Dang. Oh, yeah, that's right. So you go to straight culture shock and...
Yeah, culture shock.
What were you thinking at that point? Like,
at one point I was suicidal. I was real depressed. I thought about that. I didn't know what to think. I was just going through a lot. After it finally settled in, about almost 9 months to a year, I just said, F it, I'm gonna just stay out here and just live the life of a native, you know what I mean? But it's crazy because you would get love, but then you would also get, Oh, yeah, that's
Look,
good.
I'm getting into the dish.
Yeah, you're getting into it.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, coming from America at the time, I tried to blend in, but really couldn't because I didn't have the accent that they had. Mm-hmm. So people were really drawn towards you. So they always wanted the stories. And I had braces on my teeth. They didn't know what that was at the time.
I wondered what your secret to nice teeth was.
I just got braces and moved out there. They didn't even have an orthodontist there. People out there didn't know what braces were. They were like, look at this, whoa, the diamond in his ear, the diamond in his mouth. I'm like, these not diamonds or whatever. And they think you just come from money.
Yeah.
But my dad was out there really struggling. He was out there because he was stranded. He was a businessman that got swindled out on a deal. There's a lot of scam and con artists out there. They do that for professions out there. Mm-hmm. And he got swindled out $200,000 on his first business deal. He got stranded in Ghana. So he's getting his life back together.
Your mom couldn't try to help? Oh, well, they split.
They split, yeah. And so he's coming out of the struggle, now getting his 2 sons back. We're going through the struggle with him.
Wow.
So we really didn't have money for real. Mm-hmm. So, but people looking at us like, we're from America, we have money.
Yeah.
I'm like, we out here like, y'all, we just trying. Yeah, so that's how we came with these kind of dishes, so.
So where did the inspiration for kind of fast forward me? So you come back to America, you create this brand Head Attire. I'm skipping a whole bunch of steps, I'm assuming. So how did we get to Head Attire?
Okay, so we got to Head Attire. I stumbled on Head Attire. I had other businesses while I was working. I was working as a full-time employee for UPS for 20 years. All throughout that journey, I had side businesses. Mm-hmm. So I had a catering business that I started. It failed because I couldn't put all my energy into it. Mm-hmm. A couple other things, and then I finally took a leap of faith in 2019 and left. I was depressed at my job. It was an easy job, but it just wasn't fulfilling, so I left.
What were you doing at UPS? Were you one of the delivery guys?
No, I wasn't. I actually was working in a facility kind of under management.
Oh, okay.
So I just had an easy cake job. So it wasn't even the job itself that was hard. It was just being there and on somebody's time.
Well, especially as an entrepreneur, you're I would imagine as an entrepreneur, you daydream a lot. I have my best ideas in the shower, but I daydream about my ideas, you know. Mm-hmm.
I had
you're working this job. Mm-hmm. You're getting these 2-week checks. You're comfortable, but you're depressed because you see the future, right? What
really got me in depression is during that job, towards the end, in 2017, I got divorced. So what forced me into entrepreneur, to be a full-time entrepreneur was I didn't want to just be a weekend dad because that's what I become.
Yeah.
So for me to be with my kids full-time, I need to change my lifestyle. I cannot work for anybody. So that was my leap of faith, for sure.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So that's what drove me. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I just took a leave of absence until I figured it out. I discovered Head Attire by accident. I was watching the Joe Buttons podcast. Mm-hmm. He was interviewing Vince Staples. If y'all want to see it, check it out. It's on YouTube now, where he's wearing a red hat, regular T-shirt, and I was like, that fedora's dope. I was wearing fedoras forever, but I can only get the brown, the black, the basic colors they sell at H&M and stuff.
Yeah.
He had a red one. I searched for a year. I couldn't find it anywhere. Ran into this girl who was a stylist at the time. She was like, yo, I know where to get the hat. She took me to the plug, went and got it. It was a personal thing. I wanted it for myself. He had about 5 colors. I said, I just want the red. I wore it literally. I got stopped everywhere in LA, Hollywood, wherever I was at, by all kind of people. Every type of walk of life would stop me. Where'd you get this hat? Where'd you get this hat? And I'm like, this is odd. I get attention, but not like this, you know? And then that happened for about a month. I said, let me go back and get a blue one. I went and got a Dodger blue one, same effect. I'm like, I got to start capitalizing. Yeah. So instead of me trying to send them to the plug, let me be the plug. And so I started taking numbers, emails, things like that. And then I just took a leap of faith and went and bought a bunch of hats just out of my trunk, trying to figure out how I'm going to set it up.
Yeah.
And you see how my consultant with me, he actually helped set up my website to make it a real business. So I made it a real business in September, the end of September 2019. Didn't know how I was going to actually sell them.
Yeah.
You know? So I ended up at this brunch. What really launched it for me is I ended up at this brunch that we used to I didn't really go to, but I knew a lot of people went to. My boy, he just flew into town. He's like, I got this ticket. Meet me at this brunch. Cool. I brought my hats. Literally, we left the brunch. I was bored. We're in the parking lot, and I was trying to get content to start my IG page. So I started taking pictures of women coming out of this brunch. Like, yo, I just need photos of women with the hat. They would try it on, and they said, well, how much? We want to buy it. So they started buying the hats like a crowd around me in this parking lot.
And you just trying to get content.
I was just trying to get content. I'm like, okay, cool, Cash App.
Yeah.
The owner comes out and is like, wait, you can't do that here. You can't solicit, but you know what? Come back and sign on to be a vendor. We do this every month. Shout out to Brunch to Bomb, because they're the ones that put me on.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
You know, DJ Benjamin Walker, you know, Adrian Reed, they really helped me out. Signed up to be a vendor. I mean, it just like a launch pad. It took off the following month. It started picking up so much that I had to hire employees to come with me.
Wow.
Yeah, so my goal was to do like one of these every month, which I was doing, but then add other events to it. So it was going good, and then boom, pandemic hit. Lost everything.
When you say you lost everything,
yeah,
you're saying like, well, you didn't really have a place to sell anymore, right?
Yeah, because nobody can go outside.
Yeah. So now you really have to rely on your e-commerce and your
Right, which I didn't because it was new. So I was selling some things online, but not a lot. So I was heavily dependent on like the in-person sales, you know. So what happens is,
and all this is going on
in the pandemic,
and you have 2 children.
2 children.
And you have an ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
And I'm pretty sure
she's getting paid. Yeah.
Oh, is she
I'll cut the check.
You're giving her money.
Yeah, for sure.
And so at some point, someone's got to be like, "Yo, bro, you're crazy. Go back to UPS or right."
Oh yeah,
So like, what does that conversation look like, and how are you feeling when people are like, "Are you insane?" and rolling their eyes? I want to know the experience you went through.
Okay, so it's like what we talked about in the car. You just have to know yourself because people that go to these jobs, they there for a lifetime because they offer you that 401k, they offer you retirement. You know, you get paid, good benefits, the whole thing. But like I said, it wasn't fulfilling, and I needed to be with my kids. So I didn't expect them to understand, you know. Yeah. So I knew I wasn't going back. I just had to figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
And I did other things as well. During the pandemic, you know, the susus and all that stuff that was going on, I jumped in all that stuff.
The susus?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about the susus, where everybody puts their money in and then it goes
around. Did you do that?
Did it work? The first one worked and the second one it flopped. So I kind of ended up breaking even. No, I actually lost a little bit.
I can't even tell y'all what I did during the pandemic. I was investing in all types of stuff. And let's just say I lost $83,000 on one of my ventures.
Are you serious?
I'm still in the hole.
Man, I thought I was bad.
Yeah,
Sorry for your loss.
My husband still has comments about it.
Yeah.
I don't even like talking about it in my house. We don't have to talk about this.
Everybody was scrambling during the
pandemic. You're like,
right.
What the heck? Like, my business just went under. In the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't know about PPP or, what the bailouts were looking at. It looked like all the big companies were getting bailed out, and all those little people were like, oh, shit. And if you didn't have your paperwork together, you weren't even going to get bailed out. If you weren't paying taxes prior to PPP or the pandemic, you were basically... you became either a street pharmacist or a delivery person for that street pharmacist.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping it real.
No, that's 100% facts, But yeah, I jumped in. I didn't have to do the street pharmacist thing. Thank God.
I came very close. I lost quite a bit of money. You can imagine what I lost in it, okay?
I came close, but the deal didn't go through either. Yeah, but I was really on the edge. Like, what are we going to do? So I feel it. During the pandemic, all that stuff, we're trying all these investments. Some are winning, but it's slow.
So, but you're using the savings from your original job.
I'm going through my savings now.
And your whole squad, I want to hear what are they saying while you're like, hey, I got this idea. I want to pursue selling these fedoras and.
By then, I was already in it. But how am I going to do it during the pandemic was like the question, right? So, I didn't even know how I was going to do it. Yeah. But I'm good at networking. Okay. So I got a lot of friends, and I always meet people. I met this girl that was my neighbor, and she was kind of selling head wraps and stuff. And so we try to get content for each other. We take pictures. We were hanging out and stuff like that. We went to a market because things kind of started opening up. This is like a year into the pandemic. They started doing outdoor markets and stuff. We met this guy that was selling at a market, and he was in a store that was about to open called Soul Folks in Leimert Park. I don't know if you've heard of it. So it's a black-owned co-op where they bring all these black brands.
Oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah. Similar to like a Uplift for us marketplace.
Yeah, similar to that. But this was the only thing open during the pandemic. Because remember, everything was shut down, but they stayed open. I guess they preserved that place for us, so they let them do what they want. So went down there, the manager, who happened to be a lady that I was going to be a vendor with right before the pandemic hit. I remember I told you I got 4 spots. Because I wanted my goal was to get 1 every week. Yeah. And then the pandemic hit, everything shut down. I had an issue with her because she didn't get my money back. So we had this exchange, right? She ends up being the manager I have to go through to get in this store. I'm hoping I hope she don't remember me.
But at least she owed you the money, right? Because then you're in a better position because it's like, well, you owed me money, so you owe me a favor?
She didn't see it that way because it was a bad exchange, and we didn't know each other. Okay. Because she's like, well, why did you go about it this way? So it was a little back and forth. I never got the money, but I'm hoping she doesn't remember. She's like, yeah, no, I remember you. I'm thinking I'm not going to get in the store. But they let me in. And then when I came in, they're like, we need somebody for hats. And I had a lot of fedoras at the time. I had a few T-shirts. And then once I got in, they said, you know what, you're free to create other things if you want. And I was always good at creating because as a child, my passion was drawing. I always drew. As a child, like 3 years old, I would draw clothes and stuff. Back in the day, it was cross colors and things that we couldn't afford. I would draw characters with these clothing on them. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get to bring this to life. I was doing that there, moving slow, and then opportunity came from that. I would network. The good thing about these co-ops is they got a lot of a lot of business people that come in.
Yeah.
And so you get to meet a lot of people with other businesses that give you opportunities.
Yeah.
That's how I think I was able to get into Uplift Us.
Marketplace.
Someone referred, I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
And I just started following them online.
Yeah.
And they reached out to me because I had these like really nice fedoras at the time that I was promoting a lot on Instagram. They say, we're opening up a store. Would you want to be a brand? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
But I noticed you don't just focus on hats.
No. See, it's called Head Attire Trendsetter. So the acronym is HAT, but it's called Leading Attire Trendsetter.
Leading attire.
Right, but people think hat if they see HAT. So what I did is I blurred the logo and blurred the letters to make it a logo.
Okay.
So that way people don't get confused with it's only being solely hats. So it's a little bit of everything. It's apparel, it's hats, it's necklaces now, it's jewelry, it's accessories, it's everything. It's a full on line.
So I found out about your brand through Uplift Us Marketplace. Shout outs to them and everything that they do for the Black community.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the things that stood out to me about your brand is the number one thing was that I noticed your brand represents a lot of self-love.
Yeah, for sure.
And then coming from a male perspective, it's like,
man.
you know, you always hear women constantly like self-love, learn to love yourself. But I never hear like a man represent self-love. Like, why self-love? Like, why is that the important staple in your brand?
Well, you know what, man, we need love too. And before you get love, you need to love yourself. So me just going through the journey, because like I said, I got divorced. I went through the dating and had girlfriends and ex-girlfriends. I'm like, there's a lot of mental illness.
Yeah.
And, you know, mental awareness and mental health awareness is up now. And I just think that we first need to love ourselves before we even enter this pool of dating.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself, loving yourself is like the most important. So I wanted to make apparel that represented that. But I wanted to make it fashionable, not just like self-love and that's it. So I saw, you know, me being the artist that I am, I said, let me reverse it, you know, make it mirror reflective so that way when you look in that mirror, it can be reminding you every time that you get that love back. So that's how that started.
So now that we ate dinner,
yeah,
I'm all about the sweet tooth. So show me how to make dessert.
Yeah.
And while you show me how to make dessert, I want you to tell me what the definition or what you feel self-love is.
Man, self-love, man, it can be defined in so many ways, but at the end of the day, it's pretty self-explanatory. You know, love yourself, believe in yourself, trust yourself. Don't look for someone else to give you something that you don't have already, which is love, right? So don't find it in others if you don't have it in yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is right there. Okay, so with this, we actually should have used the bowl, but I'm gonna try to make it work.
We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work.
Okay. So we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna grab
with our hands again.
I mean,
oh man.
You know what? We don't have any more bowls.
Man.
We don't have no more bowls.
No, it's fine. Man, this is the most handsiest dish of all time. Okay. We have the Garri.
Garri. Go take a little bit of that.
For all my listeners, it's like sand.
Yeah.
And we're handling it with our hands.
Normally this would be in a bowl. So I messed up. I probably should have put that in the dish.
Okay.
But we'll make it work.
It's fine.
Yeah. And then with this one, so this would be like a dessert, right? But people eat this for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. You're going to just add a little bit of...
He's so polite, y'all. For all y'all women out there, I don't know if he's single. I'm going to start that.
No, I'm single. I'm just single a little bit.
Okay, nice teeth, women, nice teeth.
Yeah,
all right.
They're my real teeth, too.
I take the, so this is a can of evaporated milk. So I'm going to pour this on the Garri.
Yep, and we're going to kind of stir it up till it feels like the sandbox.
Okay.
I'm sorry, like the sandcastle type feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to add a little bit of sugar.
Add some sugar. I'm excited about anything sweet. I have at one point I had 16 cavities, and needless to say, I was too broke to fix them. And I had bought my house, and I was like, I put all my money in my house, but I moved in with 16 cavities, and all the dudes that were like talking to me were like, "You're gross," and I'm like, "I'm gross, but I own a house."
Want to come in?
Yeah, I didn't use the equity to get the teeth fixed, but I eventually got my teeth fixed. Okay.
You look good now, though. You good now.
You know, I didn't have braces. These are naturals. Okay. So now we got the sugar. Can we eat it now?
Yeah. Is it nice and mixed?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add a little bit more milk to mine. I think it should be.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
See,
really,
that's how you know he knows his stuff because he was like, this ain't wet enough.
Yeah. Like it should be in a bowl, so it should be a little bit more soupy. So you can have it a little more.
I'm gonna make mine soupy.
Yeah.
I don't really know what evaporated milk is.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's like canned milk in a can from the way it looks.
And this should be in a bowl.
Okay, mine is soupy. Okay.
Is it soupy enough?
Yep, mine is good.
And we're just gonna take a scoop.
Okay.
Normally you eat it with a spoon, but you can actually grind it up like that if you want and have it turn into these little balls. How you like it?
It's not bad.
It's all right, huh?
It is. Just for the record, like, there are some dishes I say I will make at home. This and the other dish that doesn't require stove.
It's kind of good.
This will be the one in Dunners. Good, but
you like it, huh?
This is good. Like, honestly, like, my 8-month-old daughter, if she keeps telling me no, this is what she's going to eat for dinner. For real. But this is good.
That might not be a punishment. She might like it.
You know what? Actually, I kind of do like it. I think if I just wouldn't do it with my hands. For you guys at home, you don't have to do it with your hands.
Nah, you need a bowl and a spoon. It's easy. But it's kind of good, though. Yeah.
All right.
Eat while broke.
One last thing I want to do before I ask you a million more questions.
Yes.
We got to introduce my little dish. Okay, y'all? This is called Milo. When me and my siblings, I have shout outs to my siblings. I have a lot of siblings, but we would get in trouble a lot. And I don't know if you come from the Tales from the Crypt era. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, like you were definitely afraid of the basement. So every once in a while, my mom would send us to the basement, and we'd be down there for hours. Okay, I'm Jamaican, so my mom's very scary.
All right.
And we'd find cans of Milo in our basement, and we would take a spoon or our hands, but in this case, we'll use a spoon. We take the Milo like this. Go ahead. I finally got a broke dish on the soup. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. I'm gonna let you go first because I don't even know if this is legal. Yeah? Not gonna die?
It tastes not good, right?
It's not bad.
It's really not.
It's actually kind of good.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is the lick, okay?
Yeah.
You don't even need water. And you'll be thirsty after. We used to suck this down all the time.
It doesn't taste like...
It tastes really good, right?
Yeah.
It really does. Like, you're not even... Right?
It tastes like
candy.
You can eat it like that, like candy, yeah. Y'all would eat cans of this?
Shout outs to Milo. So that was like the silver light. Oh, well, you could keep eating them, but...
No, that was good. I'll eat the whole can.
It's good, right?
I'll get 16 cavities. Stop playing.
So what is self-love to you?
Self-love. All right. Self-love starts with you. So I always put these sayings on my apparel. And if you don't mind, actually, I have something for you.
Oh, I'm excited.
Can I get into it?
I can't wait to see what you have for me.
Well, since you can't wait, let's do it now. Want to do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. You said we talking about self-love. We might as well show the self-love. You know, at your request. Here.
Oh, I be all up in his Instagram.
Man. I had to give it to you.
All right.
I'm one that shows love.
Is the plastic too much for the sound? No. Okay. Can I open this? Can I open it?
Yeah, of course. Wait, did you want a small or a medium? Because that's a medium. If you want, I got the small.
I'll probably do small.
Let's do the small.
Just so you guys know, these are Letterman jackets, and they say self-love on them. And I see a lot of people on Instagram rocking these Letterman jerseys, but these are fire. And every time he drops a color combo, I'm like, ooh, that color combo is better than the last. So I'm pretty sure he sees my comments and is like, yo, just 2 days ago, she said that brown was the freshest one. Then I was like, no, the black and red. And of course, I said black and red because if you look at the Eating Wild Broke colors, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was happy that you probably noticed my DMs and my comments.
Oh, yeah.
But yes,
there you go,
I'm
right
super
there. That one's straight out of the
excited.
bag right there for you.
Look at this.
Yes.
Self-love. And the reason why I wanted to ask you about self-love is I think self-love is one of the hardest things that I've had to learn in my lifetime.
Really?
And all my girlfriends, they they go through the same struggle. So the biggest question is like, what is self-love? And so I wanted to hear from a male's perspective, what is self-love, especially a male that like promotes it as hard as you do.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pull this out for a second because self-love is something that you constantly need to remind yourself that you have. So that's why I put it on a lot of my apparel now. I'm putting it on shirts. I'm putting it on necklaces like this. Because it really does start with you, you know.
It does.
And me going through, honestly, what taught me self-love, not even just for me, because I've always had confidence and I've loved myself, right?
Yeah.
But more for others, because I've come across people that I felt really didn't love themselves, didn't know how to love themselves, so how can they love someone else?
Yeah.
So I wanted to promote it in a way that was fashionable, because that way they can always wear it, remind themselves and others. Yeah. People want to put the words together, oh, that's dope, self-love, I want that, I need that, and it's more powerful than we think. See how you like it?
I love what self-love represents, but I wanted to kind of focus on this for even the listeners.
Okay.
Self-love is, I think people assume like, okay, I get dressed up in the day, I drive a Benz, a Jaguar, I look good, I wear these stilettos, I love myself, and that's self-love. Or I take bubble baths and I do these posts on Instagram and I have a really great body, and that's self-love. And I think there's a little bit of confusion there. You know, self-love is not as glamorous as I think people make it out to be. I think self-love is setting boundaries.
Yes.
And standing behind your own intuition. And I think it gets blurry when you love others, or you're empathetic, or you come from abuse, or you come from whatever background you come from. I think we got to stop making self-love about an exterior appearance and like more about what's going on the inside.
Right.
And you really aren't faced with the demons of self-love until you're in a relationship. I don't care if it's with your parents or with a lover. You won't really understand whether you have that challenge. I'm going to say challenge because it's a dilemma, and it's a slow dilemma. But you don't understand you have that dilemma until you're forced to choose someone else over yourself. And a lot of times you think, well, that's love. Okay, I love this person, so I'm going to put up with the way they treat me. Oh, I'll forgive this person. They had this horrible background. And it's like, what you're not understanding is that you need to establish certain boundaries and love. And I'm glad that it was a male that talked about self-love, because you see online a lot of times too, men get abused and men put up with this stuff. And a lot of times we see movies and we see TV shows and we think, oh, that's love. But your trigger factor is, at the end of the day, your parents are your first relationship. So however your parents taught you love is basically the foundation of what your exposure and what your experience to love is, but it doesn't necessarily make it right. You have to go within yourself and figure out what your boundaries are, what makes you uncomfortable, what makes you sad, and draw the line at it, as difficult it is may be. And it's almost like when I compare love to heroin or something like addictive like that, because when you're pulling away from something, you're making that difficult decision to choose yourself, you feel bad, or the other person may make you feel bad, or, you know, what have you. But it's one of the most difficult things that I think people will ever experience, but it's just not talked about enough, and it's glamorized, and it's stupid to glamorize, you know? I could look like I love myself because I drive a nice car, or I have a podcast, and I look great in bikinis, but that does not mean self-love. Self-love is like what happens with you alone with yourself. Like, are you depressed? Are you happy? And I like Head Attire because you're talking about these difficult issues, and you're bringing it to the forefront.
Yes.
You know, I love your journey.
Thank you.
You know, I did not know that it had anything to do with your children, you know.
Oh, man, it has everything to do with my children. That's what I live for. And, you know, I'm very involved, you know, and like I said, this actually saved my life. Head Attire. I've done other businesses, and a lot of times, and I know you know because you've done a lot of other businesses yourself, you can get trapped in your business.
Oh,
you know, so you become an employee of your business.
I'm like, I'm there now. So how do you not get it? Yeah, how do you not end up there?
So I'm trying to build a team as it's growing, because it's growing again. And so I want to make sure that I'm not a prisoner in you know, basically to my own system that I created. and the flexibility to be with my kids throughout the day. Like, it's beautiful. I love them. Like, I'm literally, my daughter's here with me now, you know, during spring break, and we just at the park hanging out. Like, that's a dream come true. That's real wealth to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being able to be with my kids at any given time without being stuck on the job. So just find your passion. I love what you're doing here. You know,
when you're scaling your business, essentially that's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
I would consider myself, there's self-employed and then you're a small business owner. Self-employed is you basically work for yourself, which essentially you work for your customers and you're a slave. But you're getting paid really bad.
That's fact.
Now, the next level to self-employed is you own a small business and you're scaling it. You're saying, you know what, I'm going to hire you and you and you.
Right.
And hopefully, and I think leadership is very tough. Like, I struggle with leadership. I have to constantly check myself, like, you know, like one of my team members was like, "Oh, you were hostile today." I'm like, "Oh,
really?
Shit." I'm scared to hear hostile, but
but
the truth is that
it can happen.
It can happen. Well, when you own a business, you're juggling a lot, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And the money isn't there, right? And sometimes you're working with smaller budgets. You have cash flow problems. I want you to talk about some of that.
Okay, yeah. I started everything. I didn't go with any PPP loan. I didn't get any of that. I didn't get no bailout. I started it with every single dollar that I had. When I didn't have it, I had to go to my friends for hard money loans. You know, like, I need to fulfill an order. I don't have it. You know, but you know, I'm going to get it. And you know, here's 30% in 30 days, whatever the agreement. You know what I mean? And so my friends I've known for 20 plus years, most of them. And so it's like family to me. So they believe, and you know, we all push together. And as we're growing, I want them to come with me because they saw me at the bottom. They started with me. So other people want to team up. And people do want to have partnerships. People want to do collaborations with me, but I'm really like, because again, self-love. Yeah. Like, even when you're going into business with people, they say it's business, not personal, but how can it not be personal?
Yeah, it's basically a marriage.
It's a relationship.
And I'm basically,
And so I don't want to get into certain situations, even if the money's there on the table, because I don't want to go through the stress of dealing with somebody and even what they come with. So I'm very particular. So I'm starting with my own people first as we scale. And we're trying to get into more stores now as we speak. I had a meeting yesterday that went well. We possibly may be doing a partnership. So great things are happening. Now building that team around me is going to start with my people first. You know. And sorry if I didn't answer your question.
When you go into, so when you're building your business, you're using your savings initially, right? So when your savings gets low, you start to reach out to friends. What is the emotional experience? Like, I want our listeners to like really understand like what your thought process is as you're draining your savings pursuing your dreams.
Oh man, not how, but I'm going to get it. You know what I mean? And it's almost something that you have to have in you. Like, you have to have that confidence, and that I just go on the leap of faith that I know it's going to happen. Even literally when I didn't know how, but it always happens. You know what I mean? So, sorry, I might have gotten away from your question. I want to make sure I answer it correctly.
No, you did answer it. Like, there were times when I had a magazine prior to this, and we wouldn't have the money for the print bill. And, you know, the printers, we're going to owe the printers money in 3 days. And my staff is like, they're like, should we even design the next issue? And I'm like, no, design it. And they're like, but you ain't got no money. I'm like, you know, you're the leader, right? You have to be like, don't worry. We'll figure it out. Just keep doing your job. And you're like sitting there like, shit, you know, I'm probably going to have to skip rent. Like, you know, I'll never forget one time Chipotle had owed me like $9,000.
Really?
The money was supposed to come in the mail. Yeah, they were one of my sponsors. And I had the print bill that was going to do in like 5 days, my rent, my car note, and I'll never forget, like, shit, I'm going to have to call Nick Cannon and be like, you don't have to pay my rent this month, you know? And it was a difficult decision, but my team was looking at me like I was crazy. They're like, oh, you're just having all these cash flow problems. And I'm like, I know if this check could just arrive, you know? And I'll never forget, I start calling my uncle, hey, yo, I know you're not going to believe this, but I got like $9,000 coming in the mail soon. Can you just front me this rent money? And they were all like, hell no. Like, you got $9,000 coming in. Cause they're like, yeah, right.
They didn't believe you.
They didn't believe me, but needless to say, the check showed up in time, and I paid my rent and paid the print bills. But there were so many instances like that, you know, people look at it and they're like, oh, you have this brand, or you must be successful, and you're like at home like,
They don't understand like the struggle, and it does.
And you
look
went
glamorous.
through that.
Yeah, I went
and
through that.
And it looks glamorous. Like if I saw this Letterman jacket, I was like, oh my God, you own this. You own the brand that has the Letterman jackets and Uplift Us Marketplace and online, and all these celebrities are wearing your stuff.
Yeah.
Of course you're successful. There's no way you burned through your savings.
I burned through that trying to get it to this point.
Yeah.
You know, but because it's a long process. You know, to get this quality of material, like this quality of jacket made, it takes.
It's really quality.
Real leather and everything. So it takes about 6 weeks.
Wow.
So you have to front. You're going to be out of money for about 2-3 months before you see a profit.
And you don't pre-sell it, so you're really taking a risk.
Oh yeah, I buy everything up front. Yeah, I'm not pre-selling anything.
What are you thinking if, like, say you order a bunch of larges and like all the mediums and the smalls? Like, what are you thinking though?
I got to re-up.
Wow, so but you're not thinking like, dang, I'm never going to order largest again.
No. I have all sizes because people from all walks of life come. So I have to make sure that I always have supply. So even if I get paid, because I mean the checks do come, and when they come, they're nice. It's just like the game, you got to go and re-up.
Yeah.
And so I'm always thinking I'm 2-3 months ahead. That's how the apparel game works. So it's always money coming in, but it's kind of going out too, because the bigger you grow, the more you have to spend. And that's just what it is.
Now, I tell my team here, I'm always talking to them behind the scenes about like finances, and I always say when you have a company, you actually don't. If you're generating, say, $10,000 a month, your goal shouldn't be to actually be, your overhead should not be at $10,000 because you will end up with a cash flow problem.
Exactly.
Can you explain to our listeners, like, from your perspective, like, what it looks like? I know for me, I try to keep my overhead when I have a business closer to 30%, but it usually ends up at 50 or 60. But but I always try to leave that cushion room because that's the only way you can develop cash flow. But can you explain it from your perspective, like what it looks like?
More money, more problems. Let me stop playing. More money, less problems if you handle it right. So now that we have this system in place, like I make sure kind of like you have a cushion.
Yeah.
So when the check does come in, and another thing is we get paid monthly.
Oh, you get paid. Oh, yeah, because your cash flow is a little.
Yeah, sometimes it's a net 60. So we're getting paid every month now. And I have my own, my personal sales too, but I'm talking about through the stores, it's a net 30.
Oh, it's net 30. So after they sell, you still waiting for the pay.
Still waiting. So
that's
you have
interesting.
to,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you have to be real strategic with your money, right? So as you have this money coming in, I have orders that I need to, fulfill. So I always have something coming. Like there's never money not coming in or going out. It's a cycle. It's like an engine. It's always running.
Now, when you're in a clothing brand and you're in a retail store, is that considered consignment? Because it doesn't sound like what you do is consignment, or or do they buy it wholesale?
No. It's consignment. So it's the way that we have different deals.
Yeah.
But how most of them are structured is a co-op. So you're the owner, you're the brand, right? And they negotiate whatever their percentage is because they're going to make their cut. You have to pay a space.
Yeah.
Right. Insurance, everything. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still consignment. You're responsible for everything.
Wow, but you're dealing with a lot of different types of vendors because you're dealing with your customer that's buying directly from you.
Right.
Then you're dealing with your retailers. Wow, you're wearing multiple facets on top of being the designer. So you definitely have a team.
Yeah, and I design. Yeah, that's why I need a team. I need to scale up.
And then you have to source and all that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, but it's fun. Like I love it though, but it doesn't feel like work when you actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And back to the UPS thing, it was easy money. Literally, I would sit there at work and play on my phone and just do whatever, but it was just so boring. Time is just ticking.
Yeah.
But here, like, I actually enjoy it because, like, this was literally drawn out. I can show you off camera. Like, I literally drew this out. And to see it come to life and to see people like you appreciate it.
I love it.
Is the real satisfaction I get from it. So it doesn't feel like work. Even though it sounds like this long drawn out thing, I enjoy it. I stay up to like 2, 3 in the morning drawing and sketching this stuff out.
Why did you put mirror on the jacket?
Oh, you know that thing, mirror on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of play off
I
of
like that.
And that's why one is reverse and one is forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's just always a constant reminder, no matter if you're looking at yourself.
And it shows you, like, this isn't, you'll see brands where they'll throw their logo on something. There's, like, I hate to say it, but there's no real thought process. You feel like their goal is to make money. This, I feel like your goal isn't to make money. This is something you're passionate about.
Yeah, for sure.
And you happen to be making money while doing it,
Yeah, that's the win, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy something you're doing, find a way to make you money. So literally, like, I really feel like if you really enjoy something, the money's just gonna come. That's just my belief system.
Yeah.
And so that's just what I go on. Like, I make it wearable art. Literally, like, art appreciates.
Yeah.
So I try to make things that are gonna be here forever. I don't really follow the trends. So I call myself trendsetter. Because I want to set the tone. You know, I don't even look at what people do online, or I don't look at seasons, anything. I just do what I want to do.
I love it. That's how I dress, by the way.
Really?
But that's why my wardrobe isn't the best. But but I appreciate you coming out and showing us love and really giving us a dish that was true to you. I feel like every Ghanaian and everybody is gonna really appreciate the fact that you shared not just your dish, but like a part of your culture with us. And I'm gonna be honest, out of all these dishes here today, I'm gonna rate it.
Okay.
I will say the dessert was the best.
Really?
It was. As much as I wanted to like say I wouldn't do it again, which I'm gonna be honest, I probably wouldn't do it again, but it's only because we made it with our hands.
You know what?
But like if my daughter and I were at home right now, I would totally do it. I would totally do it.
Good.
And I would say the sardine dish, I ate it all.
Yeah, I saw that.
I ate it all.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
It worked out, right?
Honestly, the whole thing worked out. I would rate it overall, I would say 6 for the taste and everything.
Okay.
And I would say for survival, it would be like at a 10. Like you could totally survive.
I could live with that.
You would totally survive with that. Yeah.
I'm living proof that I survived. This is what I ate for like 2 years.
Yeah, and your teeth look great. You look great.
I appreciate
all
it.
y'all ladies who's watching this, he said he was single. I don't know if he'll be single when it airs.
But the way self-love is going on. But my mom is going to be extremely disappointed.
Why?
Because this is not supposed to look like this. So, Mom, if you're watching, I apologize, okay? But honestly, it's not supposed to look grainy. But
oh, really?
Nah, it's not supposed to be kind of soupy and stuff. That's because we didn't use a bowl.
He didn't do us right.
I didn't do it right. But I
what did you think of Milo?
I've been made this in 20 years.
What did you think of the Milo?
That was good. But to be honest, I think if I ate a whole can of that, I'd be sick. That's just because I'm not used to that.
When you're 10, imagine your mom sends you to your basement, you're like, yo, we about to come up.
But that's good. Shout out to Milo, like, yo.
Shout out to Milo. We didn't even add like milk or
that's what they
water. We just used to eat this straight out the can.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mel, for coming over here and showing us what you ate when you were broke.
Yes, absolutely.
Shout outs to Head Attire, and thank you so much for blessing me with this Letterman jacket. Where can our fans and our listeners get Head Attire at?
If you're in the LA area, definitely stop by the Culver City Mall in Culver City and pull up at Upliftness Marketplace. A bunch of black brands in there with dope stuff. You can also catch me at Soul Folks, that's in the Merck Park, another black co-op. And I'm all throughout those stores. If you're local, you can also go online at headattire.com if you want even more. And look for us to expand very, very soon. In the summer, we'll be probably up north and a few more. We're working on a few more states.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
And I did notice you are active on Instagram. So if you are a retailer or a distributor and you would like to pick up the brand, shout outs to y'all. It would be a great brand to have in your stores. But the easiest way I found to contact Mel was through Instagram. So you can DM him and comment, and I'm sure you'll grab his attention. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by the show.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It was an honor. Thank you for letting me bring my Eating While Broke dish. This is probably the brokest dish you're going to find. I just want to plug in how much it costs real quick.
Go for it.
Okay, so this whole dish right here can probably feed a family of 3 for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
You might need a few more cans of sardine, but you know, if you want to just go with the soap water, and that whole thing probably costs less than $10 if you're out there.
Yeah.
So $10 and
family of 3 for 2 weeks. That's pretty good.
Dish.
That's a broke dish.
Yeah. So appreciate the time.
Of course.
Sure.